So our next person coming up is Jolene, yeah?
Yeah, Jolene was supposed to join us on our rescue mission, and we talk a bit about that, so I'll save it for the actual conversation. But India being one of the most populated countries in the world, and so densely in the cities and then sparsely in the rural areas, she had quite some interesting stuff to say, so here that goes.
Let's do it.
I guess to kick things off, would you like to introduce yourself and talk a bit about what you do?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Jolene and I'm from India. I love traveling in whatever time I get in India or abroad wherever is possible. I prefer to be a I prefer to travel by road because it gets you to see the most exciting part of the internal parts, the insides of any country or any part of the
Yeah.
world, the real part of any country. As I prefer driving myself, and it gives me it lets me connect with the place. So yes, that's about me. I live in Delhi with my parents since I'm an Indian, and we have a culture of staying with family. So I live with my parents, my three siblings, two sisters, and one younger brother, and two dogs in Delhi.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
So where have you been traveling, and what kind of adventures have you been on then?
I've always been fond of traveling because India has a population of 133 crores, and we have some 200 plus languages altogether. I forgot to mention that my parents are also from different regions of India.
Ah,
Like my
okay.
father is from east of India and my mother is from west of India, and they have total different languages. And I was a Delhiite, like born and brought up in Delhi, and we used to go to school, and there were like so many languages. So that's what interested me in traveling, to know that, oh my god, everywhere you go, every 100 kilometers you go, the country changes in colors, in languages, in the way we look. Like, that's what interested me in traveling, in knowing people. I used to travel with my mother wherever, and that's when I decided that every year I'm going to travel somewhere international, know a different culture. And every 3 months I'm going to travel in India, within India, because there's a lot of places to see. We have got the Himalayas, we have got the Thar Desert, we have got the beaches, the Arabian Sea, the Bay of Bengal. We have a lot of beautiful natural, the nature is so beautiful in our country that you'll be mesmerized. Like there's a place called Goa in
Yep.
India, which was a Portuguese colony. So when you go there, you just don't feel that you're in India. You feel that you're in Portugal. There are Portuguese houses, and they talk a different language. So I also got this chance. That's when my friend Dan, he had called me from Bombay. He was staying in Bombay. His wife was working with the British schools, and she teaches English. She was teaching and she was posted in India. So he called me up one fine day and he said, "Hi, do you want to drive an auto rickshaw?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't mind." So I just took off. I told my boss I'm going to be gone in like
And just to check for people that don't know, an auto rickshaw is a tuk-tuk, right?
rickshaw as a tuk tuk.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it is a tuk tuk. So basically, an auto rickshaw or a tuk tuk or a rickshaw is a public mode of public transport in India, and it is only driven by men here. So we hardly have one or two women as tuk tuk drivers here. It's a mode of transport within the city, and it came as a rude shock to a lot of people when they saw me driving. So we started from Goa. We did some 2,000 kilometers in 10 days, and we started from Goa, which is a point on the western side of the coastal side of India, and we headed north via Gujarat. So Gujarat is gets into the borders from Pakistan. We share our borders from Pakistan, so we went towards the borders, and we have a salt, what you say, a white desert. That's a salt white flat desert like we have in
Okay,
Bolivia.
yeah.
It's just the same. So we
Oh, wow, I
decided,
didn't know that at all.
yeah, I did that, and we did a lot many states, traveled through Goa, Bombay, Gujarat, and finally we entered into Rajasthan. Rajasthan is the desert of India.
It sounds fantastic. Apart from India, where else have you been in the world, or where are your favorite kind of places?
Once I started traveling, my first solo travel was to Spain, and I loved it. I mean, I
Oh,
loved.
good.
So yeah, Europe has been my favorite.
So when did you first hear that coronavirus was even a thing, and how long after that did lockdowns and reactions start to actually happen?
Yeah. So, heard about coronavirus in late 2019, and we were not very scared of it, as since we just knew it was in Beijing and China,
Yeah, it's
and
over there somewhere.
yeah, and it's not
We were
going
the
to,
same.
it's not going to come to our country, and so we had heard about it in November, December. But it became a matter of concern in late February when we had our first case of coronavirus in Kerala, that is south of India, when a person had traveled from the Gulf. And the second case came in March, and that was a person who had traveled from Europe. And that time it was not necessary or to share your travel details. So he never shared that he had gone to Italy and had gone on a vacation. Actually, apparently, what he did was he came back and he threw a birthday party for his son
Oh, wow.
in a five-star hotel in Delhi. So in that process, and he became unwell at the birthday party. That's how we got to know, the authorities got to know that, oh, he's unwell. And in the meanwhile, he contaminated I don't know how many people, and his kid has been going to school, so his school had to be shut down, and that's how the contamination started majorly in Delhi. And
Oh, wow.
because a five-star hotel is visited by a lot of people from a lot of places, and
Yeah, travellers and the staff
So,
and the
yeah,
people
travellers,
nearby
staff.
supplying. Yeah, I can imagine.
the kitchen, the utensils, everything was at stake. So that's when things took a serious turn in our country, and we had our first lockdown on 23rd March.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were you up to before lockdown, and how has lockdown affected your life?
I was actually deep down into planning this trip with you guys to Kyrgyzstan, and was busy getting my visas. And just the day I was asked to be quarantined, I had booked my tickets to my return tickets from Azerbaijan. I remember.
Just to fill people in that don't know, Jolene was going to join us on the rescue mission to get our two cars from Kyrgyzstan back to London.
Yeah.
And she was
Yeah.
going to go from Kyrgyzstan through several tough visas for an Indian passport to Azerbaijan. And just as everything was falling into place, lockdown happened and the world stopped.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, I was living a normal life, and however, there was a bit of scare because there was already a case in Delhi because of the guy who had come from, and as part of our job we have to go for client meetings to hotels and places, and so we were just starting to get careful, wearing masks and wearing our carrying hand sanitizers. However, we were not, we were not considering the fact that we'll go into a lockdown. I was asked to go into quarantine on 16th March because my brother had traveled from the US and there were some cases in the US. So I was home since 16th of March, but the lockdown in our country was announced on 23rd of March for 21 days. So in our country, in India, the PM used to come and speak to the people through a telecast, broadcast.
Oh, yeah, we had the
asking
same
them
thing
to-
with Boris
yeah.
Johnson.
Yes. So, and Boris Johnson, I mean, when he got infected, I think a lot of countries started taking it seriously once Boris was infected, and we were all very troubled that, Prince Charles was affected. So it was like a big news for us. Oh my God, Prince Charles got affected. And then Justin Trudeau's wife got infected. So it started taking a serious turn. And then there were growing cases in India because, since we have a huge population of 133 crores, that is approximately 1.636 billion people,
Wow.
they started scanning at airports people who are flying from abroad. But screening is something that's very difficult in our country because of lack of knowledge and lack of medical staff. And so what we were trying to do was we were trying to scan people from airports, but there was no social distancing. It is impossible to have social distancing in our country.
Yeah, I was going to say, when someone says
Yeah.
India, I think, huge population, huge
Yeah.
cities, and
Yes.
yeah, I don't know how you could even begin to control that.
it is impossible because we have metros, metro trains for daily commutes, and we have public buses, and even we have a lot of traffic in the major cities. So it is just impossible to have social distancing unless we are all under lockdown at our homes. It's not possible. There was no other way to stop the containment or so community transfer. But I think whatever community transfer had to happen had already happened by then. By the time they decided on the lockdown, that community transfer had already happened. A lot of people had traveled. Some people were hiding their travel details. So the government took out an initiative of tracing these people back. Like they came to our homes, they came to my home, figured that my brother traveled, then they put him under quarantine. Another procedure that they were taking was they put out posters outside people's houses that there's a person in home quarantine here, so please do not come around and
Oh,
say that.
wow,
Got to tell
okay.
you that. Yeah, yeah.
And
So
are there
people were
any,
like,
technological things? Like we have a voluntary app floating around the UK. Anything like that?
yes, yes. So we have an app right now called Arogya Setu app, wherein people have to fill in their details and tell them if they're feeling unwell and if they're COVID affected. So it has got a GPS tracker. If I'm walking towards a place which is containment zone, which is a red zone, so we have even identified like a green zone is a zone which is not affected. A red zone is a zone which is badly affected. So the app is helping people out in identifying areas and how many people are affected in my area. And if I need any help, say for example I'm feeling unwell, so I can call on those numbers and ask for help, and the people can come and take me, and all of those things. But the another problem, Max, is that India has a lot of people in villages
Yes. Yeah.
wherein we do not have internet connectivity and smartphones. That's one thing that we need to take in account, that not everybody has a smartphone. In villages, people who have no internet connection or electricity, how will they have access to this kind of apps?
Yeah.
However, in the major cities, in the cosmopolitan cities, we are following all of this, but not in the villages, not all villages. People are not literate enough to follow the rules or read and write. So I think the government needs to take into account that as well. Plus, the other problem that the government faced was displacing of 40 million migrant laborers. So in India, we have very poor and very rich people. So we have these migrant laborers who travel from their hometowns, from the villages in India to the main cities for work. They work as masons, they work as plumbers, they work as maids, they work as vegetable sellers, different kind of work.
Yeah.
So what had happened was, once the lockdown was announced, these people were stranded. They did not have money because they'd live on day-to-day basis. They'd live on daily wages, which was not coming to them. So they decided to go back homes. But how do they go back homes? Because there was no public transport for them. So a lot of migrant workers started walking back. And in that case, what happened? Some were killed in accidents, some were killed, they just collapsed on the road, some died of hunger. So these cases were a little disheartening. So along with the COVID cases, the government was dealing with this migrant laborers issues. So the government realized that they had to have more planning before they got into, a lockdown. So they took care of it in the second phase. A lot of NGOs and voluntary organizations came to help for these workers, these laborers, transporting them home. There's an actor, Indian actor, Bollywood actor. His name is Sonu Sood. He worked on this major drive of providing food to at least 50,000 people in Bombay.
Wow.
And sending them home every day. So he has contributed, crowdfunded, and started this. And all the states started helping him. The central government in Delhi, the PM, the Prime Minister, has collected a lot of monies from, donations basically from corporates and people in the form of PM Care Fund. So right now they are deciding how to allocate these funds to these people. And the states, basically, the central government has to allocate these funds to all the state governments, and how they utilize, they utilize their funds. So we are trying to get there. Our hospitals are full right now. Our quarantine centers are full right now. So they are planning. They're working on sports stadiums to be more quarantine centers, more places for
Okay.
quarantine centers, and educating basically the common public how to keep up with this COVID right now. Yeah.
Yeah. And if that's the situation now, do you have any idea where India plans to go moving forwards, or even where your life plans to go moving forwards?
So we are in stage 3 right now. Very sadly, we have there's the biggest surge in the last 24 hours with 19,000 cases in a day in India.
Oh wow.
Yesterday's figures. Yes, I'll give you some figures. We have 5 lakh cases, confirmed cases so far, and approximately 3 lakhs out of it have been recovered, and we have had 16,000 deaths so far. And India is the 4th worst hit country after the US, Brazil, and Russia. Right now, we have Delhi is the worst affected with around 80,000 infected people. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to screen as many people as they can. Just yesterday, there was a news that they're going to do door-to-door screening now. Anybody who has, they're going to send volunteers at everybody's home to do screening. So let's see how it works. But right now, the state and the capital are trying to, gather as more funds they can to help these people. Now, what has happened is that on 1st of June, the state government allowed the liquor shops to open. So,
Oh, wow.
Whatever we had contained in the last 2-3 months, after the liquor shops opened, there were queues and queues outside the liquor shops to buy liquor. And there was a news report wherein a guy had bought liquor worth $700.
Wow.
So you can understand that the state earned around 1,000 crores in a day, Delhi state government. And they said that, we need funds, we need money. So that was one way they did it. But that created a lot of havoc, because we had 5,000 cases the very next day, because again I told you, social distancing is impossible in this country. So and people don't listen here. They don't like to follow rules. When we drive, we don't follow rules. We are a crazy country. We don't want to hear anybody's. I've seen police beating up people because they were not wearing masks on the road, or they were on the roads because even after a lockdown. So we've had all religious places shut down. We've had educational institutes, offices shut down. But now we are in unlock phase 1, wherein 33% of essential staff and offices are working. State borders have opened, and people are going out freely. Like I did go out yesterday to the market just to, get some fresh air. But I realized that everything is normal outside, which is actually not good. We have to go into complete lockdown if we need to contain the virus. It is really sad that we have crossed 5 lakh in India, and we need to stop it in some way.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough situation.
Another thing I forgot to tell you was that our health minister of Delhi was also affected with the virus. He's also currently in the hospital, and some of our government officials have been badly affected. They are also under quarantine. So a lot of government officials, medical staff has been affected. So we need a lot of medical people to come forward and help. Hospitals are full. So, everything is just not so good here.
Yeah.
But let's see what's in store for the country, what's going to happen, what's in store for the world.
Well, I think, you've covered so much more than I even would have thought to ask. So thank you so much for covering that.
Yeah.
I guess, do you have any, I suppose, message for anyone listening, or thoughts from India?
Yes, I would just send a lot of prayers and a lot of, just praying for the country. That's all. I mean, right now, the whole world economy is in big trouble. So I would just say that we have to fight it out with a positive mindset. We have to fight it out with, we have to be together in this. We're all sailing in the same boat. We are not white, black, American, British, Indian at this moment. We are all human beings, and we have to be more human at this point of time. Just taking care of each other, thinking about everybody. I have friends all across the globe, and every day we discuss in this. I have a Brazilian friend who was talking about his country and how water is a scarcity right now in their country, and how their president is not acting. And then whatever is happening in America right now, people are. I saw a video yesterday about these women fighting against wearing a mask. I mean, right now, I think we should be just following rules. We should just be protecting each other. We should just be praying to live. So, yeah, I'm just praying for everybody to just live and this pandemic to get over as soon as possible, a vaccine to come, prayers every day that we get some positive message out there so we can travel again, live our normal lives back, get into good clothes and not wear pajamas every day. Yeah.
Well, again, thank you so much for everything. It's been genuinely a pleasure talking to you, and you've covered so many details that I had no idea about. So all I can say is look after yourself, look after your family. I hope you stay safe, and hopefully we do eventually get to go to Kyrgyzstan or
Yes.
wherever and
Yes,
have
we
you on
will.
a convoy adventure.
Yes, definitely we will have that adventure. I'm very positive about it. It will happen.
Awesome. All right, well, thank you so much, and take care. And
Yeah. Thank
cheers.
you, Max. Thank you.